Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to On Pit Road Racing Season number 3 show, Season 14 show number 3. Special guest today. We're going racing around the country. We're going up to the great state of Indiana, the Hoosier State. And Diane, we got a really good special guest today.
We do.
And he is?
Presley Sorah.
That's right. In the second half of the hour, man, former host of Motor World from ESPN, Jerry Bernado, will join us. On Pit Road Racing starts right now.
He's going to do a little arc to try to get under you. 100 feet back, making that dive. Too cool here.
That 38 is no matter what I do, he's today.
Race friends, it's time for the fastest 2 hours in motorsports. It's time for On Pit Road Racing, right here, right now, live from downtown Las Vegas on the flagship station, the WCOBM Television Network. Our race team will have all the latest news, updates, and interviews for the world of motorsports. So buckle up and pull those belts tight. The green flag is in the air, and it's time to go racing. And here are the hosts of On Pit Road Racing, Alan Michaels and the First Lady, Diane Fox.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Frosty, ain't it, Diane?
Yes, but at least it's drying up for at least a day. I think we're supposed to get some more rain tomorrow.
You've been torturing the last 3 or 4 days. Poor Diane's been home. She's been sick. You had the sore throat. You had the googly nose, the googly throat, and the googly everything.
We used to call it when I was growing up, and also when I was working in the emergency room, we used to call it the creeping crud. And it's because it creeps up on you, because last Tuesday I was fine. Went to bed, I was fine. Woke up Wednesday morning.
You couldn't even talk.
My throat was on fire.
Because you couldn't even talk.
No,
I felt
it
so
hurt
good.
so bad. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. Some great news, too, man. Your MS walk going up to Portland real quick, coming up in May, and that's somewhere around the 20th.
I think it was May 16th May 17th or 18th. Yeah. I decided to go ahead and go up to Portland and do the MS walk up there because I had so many responses last year from people from Seattle and the Portland area where my daughter lives that supported me in the MS walk last year here, that I just wanted to go up and I wanted to be able to meet these people and say thank you and let them walk with me.
There you go. And you got a big, you're going to be going on the pub crawls and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So I'll probably do some lives, do some Facebook lives and stuff so everybody can see the fun times that we have. And yeah, so be on the lookout for our posts and stuff about the MS walk and how they can, send donations and stuff in. So
there you go.
It's going to be a good time.
See, Leapin' Lenny's back with you today.
Yeah, Leapin' Lenny's here.
There's Leapin' Lenny. He's
Lenny.
the official.
I'll let him sit right here. He was giving me the side eye stink eye. He wasn't in the shot. So.
Well, shall we get this thing going today? Let's do it. Okay, On Pit Road Racing comes to you live from the WCOBM studios downtown Las Vegas. We're located here at 450 Fremont Street, everybody. Just on the other side is the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. And then in the middle is the Gene Woods Racing Track, man. It's a 12,000 square foot indoor drift track. I mean, this thing is wild. We just had a group just leave up out of here. So come on and down. We do the show on Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. We stream the show coming off the network at WCOBM.tv, along with Facebook channels, YouTube, LinkedIn. We've got it all. Twitter, Instagram, it's all everywhere. Just search for On Pit Road Racing. For sure, you're going to find us. Show partners out there, man. We don't have sponsors. We have partners of the show, and they contribute to the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. And Diane, if you'll grab a shoe, we'll put that up there too. Gene Woods Racing Experience, 450 Fremont Street. Find out more information to the World Wide Web at GoKartsLasVegas.com. Woods Family Sandwiches right there, WFSandwiches.com for all your catering. Great food over there, man. You got a party, special event. You just want to stop by and get a sandwich, man, a great deal. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, that's our home track here, LVMS.com for all your tickets and information. Our good friends down at Atlanta Motorsports Park at AtlantaMotorsports.com. Hammer and Harry's over there at 450 Fremont Street, and Red One Scooters, man, red1.scooters.com for you. So that's it. Hammer and Harry's there with the shoes, man. And of course, it's all about the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. Everybody, that's what we do this show for. It's all about raising money. It's all about contributing into it. And right there, my little screen will flap it along. And it's a really great organization. Diane's got the shoe in the hand. She'll hold it up for you right there. real quickly, man, the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame was developed and founded by Gene Woods, 45-year racing career. It has its nonprofit status right here. What we do is we went out and bought a bunch of shoes out here. We've been going to churches and missions and all kinds of stuff around, and we just hand the shoes out, man. That's what we do. And in fact, you can see it right there. We've got all the information scrolling right across the bottom of the screen, how you can donate and become partners of the show and just have a real good time with it here at on Pit Road Racing. So anyhow, that's where we're at, man. I'm trying to get my little screen to flip back, and we'll have a good time out there today. Anyhow, shall we take a quick break? We'll get back and we'll get the thing started right here at On Pit Road Racing. We're doing it right here at the WCOBM. More right after this, everybody.
Welcome to my world. Handicapped man down at a charity feed. Great spread this morning. God, it was horrible. But it made what I needed to happen. Then I had these people that stopped and said, "Hey, you want some shoes?" I said, "Yeah, I was going to need to get some anyway. So might as well." And if it really comes to fruition, help them buy more shoes so that we can help more people. Well, I'm not but you know what I mean. Hell, might as well. There's nothing wrong with helping someone. You know, it makes for good karma or good energy, whatever it takes.
Las Vegas, Nevada, where everything seems to move a little bit faster.
Like a lot faster. Like 200 miles an hour faster. More than a race, it's full throttle insanity.
The drivers aren't the only ones on a joyride.
Family, friends, and unforgettable moments. I'm talking full throttle mayhem. I'm talking NASCAR in Vegas. What could go wrong?
Well, just about anything can go wrong. Well, then Kyle get into it, you know what I mean?
You never know. You never know how that's going to end.
7 minutes after the hour. Presley Sorah joining us at the bottom of the hour, 4:30. Jerry Bernado comes at the top of the hour today. Former host, ESPN Motor World man. Sits on the board of directors. Jerry's got some big plans for the show this year, and he's going to tell us all about it at 5 o'clock today. Hey, let's get it started. Racing weather, man. Diane, you're back to doing the weather again for the simple reason the racing season has started and they're rolling in Daytona. So it's brought to you by our good friends at Woods Family Sandwiches, 931 American Pacific, Suite 106, and on the rock right there from Las Vegas and Henderson. More information, get on the World Wide Web at wfsandwiches.com. How's the weather in Daytona, Diane?
Well, the weather in Daytona Beach, Florida for the Rolex 24-hour. Here is the weekend forecast. Looking good for the season opener of the 2024 racing season, Sunday through Thursday. Mostly sunny skies, 10% chance of about an afternoon shower. Daytime highs right around 80 and the lows at nighttime around 60s.
There you go. Racing weather brought to you by the good friends at Woods Family Sandwiches, 931 American Pacific, Suite 106, Las Vegas, Henderson. More information at catering, wfsandwiches.com. Well, Diane, the racing season started. It's kicked underway. They're in Daytona this week for the IMSA and the Rolex 24-hour, but everybody's back in action. Let's get it started. NASCAR's back in action. The Cup Series, Sunday, February 4th, 8 p.m. The Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The regular season starts Thursday, February 5th. Man, you've got the Blue-Green Vacations Duel 1 and 2 at Daytona. And, of course, the granddaddy of all races, Sunday, February 18th, 2:30 p.m. for the green flag for the running of the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and you know what? I just realized.
What's that?
It's finally, the Daytona 500 is finally coming around on my birthday again.
Yeah.
The last time it came around was the year that we lost Dale Earnhardt.
Yep. It's coming back around again.
I guess I didn't realize it.
There you go.
Well, the Xfinity Series, Saturday, February 17th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, United Rentals 300 at Daytona.
There you go. And on Friday, February 16th, 7:30 for the green flag, it's the Fresh from Florida 250. The NASCAR Craftsman truck is back in action at Daytona.
Yeah, NASCAR returns back to Las Vegas with all three series, March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Tickets at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. LasVegasMotorspeedway.com.
There you go. The NHRA is back in action for you March 7th through the 10th. It's time for a trip to Gainesville and the Gator Nationals. NHRA 4-wide racing returns back here to Las Vegas April 12th through the 14th at the strip of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You can get tickets at lvms.com or log on to the nhra.com.
Yeah, and IndyCar, March 10th, kicks off the 2024 IndyCar season as they also make a visit to Florida and the Firestone Grand Prix in St. Petersburg.
There you go. F1, March 2nd, and is kicking off F1 as it starts its 2024 season. In the season opener at Bahrain, F1 will make its second trip here to Las Vegas coming up November 21st through the 23rd. I've heard the big rumor now that they're going to move this race to a daytime race, not a nighttime. They hope the traffic will flow better. So we'll see what happens with that. So it is not made official. There is actually a new president of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So we'll work those out. World of Outlaws, the Outlaw Case Construction Late Model Series rolls into the dirt. 4 big opening nights and gets kicked underway the 17th. Rolling all the way through the 20th, Volusia County Speedway. The NOS Energy opens up its 2024 season. Volusia Speedway coming up February 7th through the 10th. And that's a look at the season openers right there, Diane. I'll tell you. You got some news from IndyCar.
Yeah, Borg Warner presented Joseph Newgarden with his baby Borg, officially named the Borg Warner Championships Driver Trophy, January 23rd, during an awards ceremony at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. It's a miniature replica of the Borg Warner Trophy. It represents Newgarden's impressive 2023 Indianapolis 500 presented by Gamebridge Victory, where he made history as one of the only 3 drivers to make a last lap pass to win the world-renowned race.
Something else, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
It says from the time that he was a young fan attending the 500, man, and him and his family has always dreamed about winning the big race. Well, it came through for him. So, congratulations.
Congratulations to Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's really looking good. Marco Andretti's getting ready to get racing, man. He's coming back up. So we've got more action about that. And you've got some INSA, man, who's on the pole for the Rolex 24-hour?
Pippo Durrani.
Okay.
And Tom Bloomquist.
All righty. That's good, Diane.
Wow.
You hit it right off the spot. There you
go. They're both owned and operated by NASCAR. Lately, though, the prestigious endurance race has received IndyCar's flair with current NTT IndyCar Series teams totaling 9 overall victories.
Wow, something else. Hey, you know what? Rolex 24-hour Wednesday, January 24th, kicks under 2024, running up all the way through the 28th on Sunday. Live on our show Friday edition, Scratch with the K is going to be down there. He's going to be at the infield at Daytona International Speedway. So he'll have all the updates on the IMSA WeatherTech Rolex 24-hour from Daytona. IndyCar returns back to action March 10th through the 24th with the Firestone GP right there. So I want to thank Atlanta Motorsports Park for their partnership, atlantamotorsports.com for more information, Diane. All righty?
Yeah.
All righty. So rolling on. What's up next?
Now we got news from the dirt.
Dirt.
And this segment is brought to you by Gene Woods Racing Experience, 450 Fremont Street, Las Vegas's only true indoor drift track. More information, 702-270-8100, www.gokartlasvegas.com.
Well, Diane, the turn of the calendar of 2024 will see the World of Outlaws Case Construction Equipment Late Model Series presented in the largest points fund and bonus program in the series history. More than $1.3 million is now available between the overall championship purse and the winner circle bonus program, a 13.6% increase from 2023. Mission Foods behind all of this too, man, looking really good. The series added more than $140,000 to its 2024 points fund, seeing that the champion now will walk away with a series. Here you go, just to win it. Okay, not including everything else. Almost $200,000 for this thing, man, and that's for the late models in the dirt.
A lot of moolah.
World of Outlaw Case Construction Super Late Model Series 2024 seasons rocking and rolling, man. Greatest show on dirt. NOS Energy 2024 season. 4 big days of racing. All coming up. Volusia County Speedway. Hey, you got it.
Yeah, this was racing news from the dirt. This segment was brought to you by Gene Woods Racing Experience, 450 Fremont Street, Las Vegas's only true indoor drift track. More information, 702-270-8100. www.gokartslasvegas.com.
Yeah, that's it. We'll take a quick break. Still to come up. We're on about 14 minutes after the hour here. Bottom of the hour coming up. Presley Sorah will join us live. He's going to talk racing with us. Super late model, not only on the asphalt, on the dirt, and also brand new ARCA ride for him as he enters the ARCA Menards ARCA East Series this year. Take a quick break, Diane, and I'll be back. We got more racing news and notes for you right here on Pit Road Racing. WCOBM, more right after this, everybody.
Jerry B here up in Sacramento, Union Gospel Mission, giving out some shoes to the homeless here. A lot of smiling faces. We got one deal. We give you a pair of shoes. You got to give us a smirk and a photo. And this is the mission of the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, which is a non-profit organization based out of Las Vegas, started by Gene Woods. We're trying to do good things and fill little holes in people's lives the best we can. And today we're up in Sacramento, just doing the best we can. Thanks for supporting us.
That's our buddy Jerry B, man. Yeah. He's coming up in just about 45 minutes, and we'll talk racing with Jerry, and we'll find out what he's got cooking for the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, man. I mean, he's got his big production people coming in and everything else, so we'll get more with it. Okay.
It'll be a good weekend.
Definitely looking right, man. I'll take the segment. We're going to do it.
The segment is brought to you by our friends at Hammered. Is it Hammered Harry's?
That's Hammered Harry's, man.
I'm not used to saying that. I'm going to have to get used to saying it. Hammered Harry's Resort, 450 Fremont Street, open daily 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Great food, fun times. They always have free shots
of ketchup.
Yeah,
you go in there and they'll give you a free shot of squirt in your mouth, man.
Okay.
I'll tell you about the whole inside of that later. Okay, there you go. Hey, you know, 111 years ago today, Wally Parks, founder of the NHRA, was born. A true hot rodder, Wally Parks set forth to create a national hot rod association that would organize the best of our energies and skills. We honor the legacy. And man, Wally, 1913 to 207, man. That's that little trophy that you see, the Wally, man. That's him right there, man. So it's really looking good with that. It's real good to see those guys all back. And of course, the NHRA is just growing. They've got a Legends Nitro series that's starting here in 2024. The popular Legend Nitro will return back. 10 race schedule spanning across 6 races of the NHRA's hot rod in the Mission Food Series. So, man, these guys are going to be running with the big boys, too. And speaking of NHRA, back in your neck of the woods in Indianapolis, they're tearing that track up. They're redoing everything, and you got all the news for it.
Yeah, Parks Tower is going to be raised as a part of upgrades at the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. And I've been there, seen that many times.
Right.
The iconic Parks Tower, a major part of the landscapes of Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park for decades, was raised recently as part of the facility's ongoing improvements and upgrades initiative. That is so cool. It's going to have a lot of new things. They're going to have, oh gosh, I was reading that. They're going to have like a new media center, VIP suites, race control, other facility infrastructures are going to go up in the new tower. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, they've got a lot of new Top Eliminator Club building that we went up in 2016. They redid the grandstand area back in 2003. So it's going to be something else, man. I mean, of course, that's the Big Daddy. That's the big national event in Indianapolis every year. It's like 10 days of racing up there. So it's good to see that track improve, get upgrades, and I think the fans will really enjoy it. The NHRA opens up its season March 7th, Diane, through the 10th. The Gator Nationals in Gainesville, Florida. Back here in Las Vegas for 4-wide racing April 12th through the 14th. You can get tickets at nhra.com or lvms.com. Segment brought to you by our good friends at Hammer and Harry's. Man, what a wild, crazy joint that is. 450 Fremont Street. It's service with an attitude over there. Great food, great times, and they always have a free shot of ketchup for you.
And I yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to step on over there.
All right. Hey, time for a little bit of NASCAR racing news segment brought to you by the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, lvms.com. Tickets are ready for this year for the 2024 Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube, Friday, March 1st through Sunday, March 3rd. The trucks are back in action again. I love the trucks, man. Diane, you
so ready for that. Yeah.
You got some news on Matty D there.
I do. Matt DiBenedetto still working on 2024 plans. So the update as Matt DiBenedetto posted a video message to social media on last Friday declaring an announcement regarding his 2024 racing season is delayed. I wanted to give you guys a delayed update. We had a sponsor deal that we had to decide to pull the plug on and move forward from. Everything will work out exactly how it's supposed to, he said. We're going to have to let 2024 racing stuff play out. Part-time, whatever opportunities fall our way and are meant to be.
The guy needs a ride, man. This guy can drive. He's got a good heart, a good soul to him. He knows
got
how
a
to
lot
do
of
it.
passion for
Somebody
it. So,
pick up
yeah,
Matty
somebody
D,
pick
man.
up Matty D.
You know, NASCAR Truck Series Cook Racing Technology, CRT, assigned Marco Andretti is coming on board. Man, he's going to pilot the number 4 Chevrolet Silverado. Andretti is scheduled to compete in 14 ARCA Menard Series races, starting with the season opener in February at Daytona International Speedway, along with 7 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race kicking off at Circuits of America in March. CRT was informed in alliance of a Houston-based Texas team. Roper Racing fielded number 04 trucks. Andretti races this season. The Nazareth, PA native is most notably known for his time spent in the IndyCar Series, where he collected 2 wins, 6 poles, 20 podium finishes, and over 251 career starts. Andretti finished outside the top 10 in the IndyCar Series, standing 9 times throughout his 15-time season, man. So good to see the Andrettis are back in racing, and they're coming to NASCAR, man. I like it. Go ahead.
Yeah, NASCAR trucks. NASCAR officials released a 2024 schedule Tuesday for the Truck Series Triple Truck Challenge, which returns for its 6th season in May and June. Eligible drivers will receive a $50,000 bonus for 1 win. If a driver wins 2 out of the 3 races, he or she will be awarded $150,000. And if a driver wins all 3 Triple Truck Challenge races, a $500,000 prize will be awarded. This season's Triple Truck Challenge. That is
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. May 24th at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, June 1st, Worldwide Technology Raceway, and June 28th, Nashville Speedway.
Well, that's something else. Some big money up on the line, man. You pick all 3 of them up, that's $500,000 right there. Hey, Mission Foods, you know, they signed on as a title sponsor for the NHRA along with the Camping World right there. Well, man, they're knocking their doors at NASCAR too, because Mission Foods and Watkins Glen International are joining forces for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. The track announced yesterday that America's #1 tortilla manufacturer will entitled partner for the Mission Ford 200 at the Glen, signing a multi-year agreement.
Wow.
So this is really good here. I'm telling you, man, these guys are breaking loose and breaking bad right now in NHRA and now moving into NASCAR.
I love Mission Food. I love their tortillas.
Yeah, we got them in the refrigerator.
We do.
Xfinity.
Xfinity Series Dash for Cash track announced for 2024 season. NASCAR officials released a 2024 schedule Tuesday for the Xfinity Series Dash for Cash initiative, which returns for its 16th season with 4 April races at a variety of oval tracks. The schedule was released Tuesday afternoon during a preseason competition briefing at the NASCAR Research and Development Center. The program presents an opportunity for 4 eligible Xfinity Series regulars to collect an extra $100,000 at each race. The circuit's 250-lap event at Richmond Raceway on March 30th will serve as a qualifier, setting the 4-driver field eligible for the Dash for Cash opener. The rest of this year's Dash for Cash schedule: April 6th, Martinsville Speedway; April 13th, Texas Motor Speedway; April 20th, Talladega Super Speedway; and April 27th at Dover Motor Speedway.
Well, you know, that's pretty wild because you got a short track, then you got a mile, then you got a mile and a half, and then you got a super speedway. I mean, they couldn't line it up any better than what they did right there.
That's going to be exciting.
So it is. Yeah, kick it off with a short track, then you go to the mile and a half at Texas, then you're at Talladega for the super speedway, then back it down to the mile track at Dover. So going to be something else. Hey, Front Row Motorsports once as again announced that they're going to make an attempt to get to the Great American Race this year. Kaz Garlow will be behind the wheel of the number 36 Ford Mustang Dark Horse during the Daytona Speedway. So we're going to see what happens with him. Maybe they'll get back into action there. You've got news and notes about tickets coming up for the 2024 NASCAR Championship weekend.
Yeah, tickets went on sale today for the 2024 NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway, November 8th through 10th. And NASCAR fans are encouraged to act fast to secure their seats for this season's finale. The NASCAR Cup Series Championship race scheduled for Sunday, November 10th has completely sold out for the past 3 years, and grandstand tickets are historically sold out before the summer. It's time, people, is to act now. I mean, and act now.
Yeah, now get them now.
Yeah, it consists of 4 championship races over 3 days, beginning with the ARCA Menards Series West Race and NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship race on Friday, November 8th. Action continues Saturday, November 9th with the Xfinity Series Championship race, which sets the table for the exciting NASCAR Cup Series Championship race on Sunday, November 10th. Which has been contested at Phoenix Raceway since 2020.
There you go. Looking good. If you're looking for more tickets to it, log on to the World Wide Web at phoenixraceway.com. Pick them up now. Pick them up now because they're going to go quick. Okay.
Yes.
Looking good out there. About 25 minutes after the hour, about 5 minutes or so away, we'll bring our first guest in line on the satellite. Presley Sorah will join us from Indiana. NASCAR to pay Chicago additional money to host the street race. When Mayor Brandon Johnson announced that NASCAR would be returning to the streets of downtown Chicago this summer, he was touted with to get a better deal for the people of Chicago by reducing the setup and takedown time and securing extra money to give the ability to pay some of the costs that occurs in the results of the race. So in other words, same thing has happened out here. Some of these businesses that got blocked off with all the stands and grands and everything else, they lost a lot of money. I was looking the other day ago and saw something on the news. There's one guy in business said over F1 weekend between the building of the track, construction, and teardown, he said they lost almost $1 million, man. So
I mean, and that's a lot for one small business to have to.
They got to get this tuned in and get it tuned right. An additional $2 million, still short of more than the 3.5 in the overtime construction costs various city departments spent on the inaugural race. So they've got to raise some more money. They got to help the people out there. They got to get things going right. You know what I mean?
They do.
All righty. So that's what we got to look at that. I think we're just about set. We got anything else we want to cover here? Qualifying, we'll save that for next week because the qualifying is all changed around and they're monkeying around with stuff and everything else. You know, it just was. We'll save that one.
Oh, and another thing, and if people are worried about this new EV race car,
oh yes,
okay, stop stressing. There is no plan to take the noise out of NASCAR or bring in EV racing as a replacement racing series. So everybody needs to calm down. I know there's been a lot of stuff said. And I am with that group. I don't want an electric vehicle.
No.
I want to be able, but it has been stated that there is no plan to take the noise out of NASCAR. So
well, that's that.
We can all sigh relief and just calm down now.
Real quickly, man, a little thought and a prayer out to Mike Wallace, the brother of Rusty Wallace and Kenny Wallace. Mike lost his wife, battle of cancer, ovarian cancer. You survived that.
Yes.
But our prayers go out to the Wallace family, to Mike and everybody in the Wallace out there for him losing his beautiful, lovely lady right there.
Yes.
Married a long time and just hate to see that happen. Segment brought to you by our good friends at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, LVMS.com. Tickets are ready for this year's 2024 Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube. You can catch the trucks on Friday night, March 5th, underneath the lights. Saturday, the Xfinity race and the Granddaddy, the Pennzoil 400, Sunday, March 3rd. Once again, LVMS.com. All righty. Well, I'm looking down to the green room, and there he sits. Mr. Presley Sorah is standing by. There he is. He's right there. Presley, you hang tight, buddy. We're going to pay a couple of bills, and when we come back, we're going racing around the country. We're going to Indiana. We're going to the Hoosier State. Mr. Presley standing by with us, and we'll talk to him right after this, everybody, on Pit Road Racing, live from Las Vegas. More right after this, everybody.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Jerry B here up in Sacramento, Union Gospel Mission, giving out some shoes to the homeless here. A lot of smiling faces. We got one deal. We give you a pair of shoes. You got to give us a smirk and a photo. And this is the mission of the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, which is a non-profit organization based out of Las Vegas, started by Gene Woods. We're trying to do good things and fill little holes in people's lives the best we can. And today we're up in Sacramento, just doing the best we can. Thanks for supporting us.
Looking good out there, taking good care of business all the way around. Coming up 30 minutes, bottom of the hour, on Pit Road Racing live at the WCOBM. Alan Michaels, Diane Fox, First Lady of On Pit Road Racing. Jerry P coming up for us at the top of the hour. We're going to talk craziness, Motor World on ESPN, what he's got planned for the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. Definitely looking good out there today. Diane, you got a little thing there that you want to read there one time for us? Because we're going to bring him in right now. Let's go to Indiana. How about it? All right.
Well, he is a driver. Current class is he drives for the Arkham Menard series. He's 20 years old. He's from Cambridge City, Indiana. He's moving up to the Arkham Menard series east into 2024. Got a lot of social media accounts, so we can find him anywhere.
We'll get him to say them all. You know, that's what we'll do.
Everybody give a warm On Pit Road Racing welcome to Presley Sorah.
Hey, he's got the crowd behind him. There you go. There he is. Well, good afternoon, sir. And how's the weather in Indiana today?
It's not much better here than it is out in Vegas. It is cold and rainy.
Cold and rainy? Oh, my goodness gracious. We don't like to hear that. Diane, get him started there.
Well, hey, Presley, thank you so much for joining us today. How did you get started in racing?
So it goes way back. I was real little. You know, I'm a first generation racer, so none of my family's raced before me, but I always grew up around watching it, and my parents watched it. And so I was a fan from the get-go. I mean, I was a toddler watching races, and right from the very beginning, I knew that I wanted to race in NASCAR as a career. And you know, we would watch the races on TV, and then I got into Cub Scouts, and I started racing in the Pinewood Derby cars. So we'd build the little wooden Pinewood Derby cars about the size as one of the die casts behind me, and we did that for a couple years, and then moved up into the first car I actually drove. It was a Soapbox Derby car, and I ran in the Indianapolis Soapbox Derby. They had one every year. It was the Mayor's Cup. And Soapbox Derby is really big around here, and like Indiana, Ohio. I mean, it's pretty big across the country, but it's really big over here. And so I ran that, and my brother and I, we were the first ever co-rookie of the years in that event. And so we did that. I did that for 2 years, and then I moved into go-karts, and I raced go-karts for about 3 years at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and a few other tracks. We ran at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, Purdue, and Purdue's got a really, really big go-kart track up there that they hold some big races at. So I got to drive at some really cool places in go-karts, and got some wins in that, and really just had a blast doing it. And it's not every day that you get to race somewhere like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So I had no problems whatsoever going out to Indy every couple of weekends and having nice early mornings at the Speedway. But yeah, I had a blast with that. And after that, you know, we live in a town of about 1,700 to 1,900 people, and we just don't have the funds that it takes to go racing on a big level. And we kind of, you know, we ran into a stopping point after go-karting, and we just didn't have the money to move up to the next level. So we found iRacing, and I had kind of watched iRacing for a couple of years, and I always wanted to get into it, but I didn't ever foresee it as a path to making a career for me. But we got going with that in 2018, and it's so funny. I didn't have a setup of myself. I'm currently sitting on my setup right now, but I didn't have one back in 2018 when we got going with it. So every week I started in the eNASCAR Ignite series, which is an iRacing series that NASCAR made for 13 to 16 year olds that competed in it. And the champion got $10,000 at the end of the season, which is just astronomical for like a teenager. But yeah, so I started racing in that, and I didn't have a setup. So every week when the race would be going on, I would have to go out to Indianapolis and use someone else's setup. And so I got very limited practice, and I was completely new to just the whole sim racing aspect of things. And so it took a while to get used to, but I ended up finishing in my first season. I was like 62nd, I think, out of like 700 competitors. So I was honestly really happy with that for having never done any sim racing stuff before in my life. And then I followed up the next year, which I had started sim racing some more, and I had my own sim rig. And I followed up the next year, and I made it all the way through the championship, and ended up making it in a championship finale. I was one of the championship finalists in it, and it was just it's crazy. It was a winner take all, kind of like the NASCAR format is now, but 30 drivers, winner take all, champion gets 10 grand. So I ended up finishing, I think, 19th in that race. But ever since then, I've just kept up with iRacing and moved through the ranks with it. It took a couple more months for me to really get acclimated with it and get comfortable and fast. And once I hit my stride, I moved up through the rankings on it pretty quickly. And in 2020, I won the iRacing Indianapolis 500, which is a pretty big event for us sim racing guys. And then in 2021, I won the the iRacing Daytona 500 on there. So that was big as well. But Indy was bigger since that's my home state. But yeah, so found some success with that, and then I moved up into like league racing, which is similar to like the real world, like NASCAR Cup, Xfinity Truck, ARCA, and there's just some very big leagues on iRacing. And so I ran in the Monday Night Racing League in 2022. I won the championship in their qualifying series, and that allowed me to move up into their professional series, which has drivers like Ron Capps from NHRA, Kyle Busch, Ryan Vargas, Shane Van Gisbergen, Will Powers raced in it. Tons of the real world guys. There's more than I can even name right here. Dale Jr. has raced in it. So tons of the real life professionals race in there. And it's a league that's made for just racing industry members. So I was one of very few that really wasn't ever in the racing industry, aside from racing go-karts like 5 years prior. But yeah, I was one of the few just sim racing drivers in there. So I really felt like I had to make a name for myself because, I mean, truthfully, no one knew who I was. So in my rookie season for that, it was summer 2022. I came in and right off the bat, I started doing pretty good. I had some good finishes, and I think it was either my third or fourth race in of my rookie season. I won my first race, and it was pretty awesome. It was me and Shane Van Gisbergen, and we led for about the first 50 or 60 laps of the race, just swapping the lead back and forth. And, you know, SVG is really big right now in the news with NASCAR because he's moving up into ARCA for the Daytona race in a few weeks. And then he's full-time Xfinity, and he's doing some part-time Cup racing as well. But obviously, a lot of people think he's one of the best race car drivers in the world from his supercars background. And so it was just really cool for my first win in this big sim racing league to, duel with him for so long and then come out on top. But so I won my third or fourth race of the season. And then about 2 races after that, I won another race. So I ended up going right up into the points lead, and I led the points for the majority of the season. And no one really expected it because, they didn't know me. And I came in, I was really, really pretty quick, and I led the points for the majority of it. And we got down to the championship, and Monday Night Racing is just an awesome league. And they did an in-person championship, which is very rare for a sim racing event to be in person. Most of the time it's just like kind of where I'm at right now. I'm in my bedroom on my computer simulator rig, but they did the championship in person in Charlotte, North Carolina, which obviously is where most of the NASCAR world is at. And they did it. It was really awesome. The championship 4 was lined up on a big stage, and there's admission tickets sold to the event, and some big names were in it, like Jerry Nadeau was in it. and then like the regulars from Monday Night Racing. So it was me, Anthony Alfredo, Colin Fern, and James Bickford that were the championship 4 in this season. And still the same deal. I felt like even throughout most of the season, people really weren't, or they didn't know much about me other than just the iRacing races I competed in with them. And yeah, I was definitely the underdog going into the championship, even though I'd led the points for so long, because Anthony Alfredo, he's a NASCAR driver. I don't remember if he was in the Cup Series or Xfinity Series during this season that I competed in with him, but either way, NASCAR driver. James Bickford raced in ARCA for a while, and then Colin Fern is a team owner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So I was the only sim racing guy in this championship, and this was the first time I'd raced in front of a crowd. And I went down there, and it was an awesome race, and got tons of viewers online and at the event as well. And I was pretty much everywhere throughout the race. I mean, I was front, back, middle, and closing laps came down to me and Anthony Alfredo, and I caught him. I think I was down like 6 seconds behind him with about 25 laps left, and it was Trucks at Homestead, by the way. That was the car in the track. But I caught him with about 5 laps left and passed him with about 2 laps to go, and ended up winning the championship. And so that was, I would argue that it's the biggest moment in my racing career so far, because I went from this just random sim racing kid from Indiana. I mean, I was like 17 or 18 at the time, and no one knew who I was. And then all of a sudden I beat these NASCAR people, and you know, it got tons of eyes on me and what I was doing, and people realized, oh my gosh, this guy's actually pretty fast. And I mean, he just went out here and beat all these guys. And so that it got me a lot of social media attention. And of course, I was in the local newspaper, because stuff like that's pretty much unheard of from where I'm at. And but yeah, it was just an awesome day, and that being the biggest moment of my career so far.
So wait a minute. I've been listening to him very intently. So you got all the way from like when you first started go-karts. That's how you first started, right?
Mm-hmm.
So box derby, then go-karts.
Okay. And you sim raced this whole other time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's brought you to where you're at today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is freaking totally amazing.
Thank you.
That is so cool.
That
is so cool.
Wait, just want to let you know, Bobby's out there, man, and he is from Cambridge, Indiana. That's where the question was, what part there. And also, we had another question is, ask him, Bobby Pazalak, ask him about why he chose the number 98 as his old racing shirt collection. I'm not quite sure. Do you know something about it? You had a car, maybe a car was named 98 or something like that?
Well, so it's...
Yeah.
I don't really have a definitive answer as to why I chose number 98. I always liked the number 9 when I was growing up, but for some reason I just don't like single-digit race car numbers. I feel like it needs to be 2 digits. It needs to fill the entire door, and it just looks better. So At one point during my sim racing career, pretty early, like 2019, 2020, I was like, 98 it is. I like 98. Still got the 9 in it, 2 digits. That's what we'll roll with. And ever since then, I've been 98 in pretty much everything.
And he also asked about your racing shirt collection.
Yeah.
Do you have a racing shirt collection?
Oh, yeah. I have so many vintage racing tees. It's not even funny. Like pretty much any driver, lots of Dale Earnhardt stuff. I'm looking at like Dale Earnhardt jackets, some old Chance 2 Dale Jr. jackets hanging up in my room. I've got a bunch of vintage retro stuff from B-Blaze Vintage. That's one of my sponsors. And yeah, so pretty much anytime you see me out and about, I'm probably going to be in a vintage racing t-shirt. You can pretty much count on that.
Now you're from Cambridge City, Indiana. And you do keep mentioning Indianapolis and stuff. How far is that from Indianapolis?
So I'm about an hour east of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So
okay, I know right where he's at.
Okay, I grew up in Indiana. I'm a former Hoosier also. I mean, I grew up from the time I was 12 years old till almost in my late 20s. So very small town, about 600 and some people. So it was very, very small. So, but I don't recognize Cambridge City, as something.
Yeah.
But I do have friends and family that live in Indianapolis. So
I really wanted to get over this because I was looking over your bio and stuff too. And, it's really hard. You come into Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you go to the Locale ID Center, which is the media center down here, on the first floor, there's a picture of Kyle and Kurt Busch. And I believe the picture was taken up at Pahrump, okay, which is about an hour away from here. They were running dirt modified, or not modifieds. They were running dirt legend cars then. Mm-hmm. So I got this in. Now you've done time on both, right? You've run on the asphalt and you've run on the dirt. Which one started first, and how did you get hooked up with both of them?
Yeah. So this is an awesome story. So last year was my first year racing in the real world. And actually right after I won that Monday Night Racing Championship, literally 2 days later, I tested a late model for the first time, an asphalt late model. And I tested at Hickory Motor Speedway. It all went great. And, but yeah, that was my first time in a race car. And then a couple months after that, and we're in November now, I tested a dirt late model for the first time, dirt super late model. And that was at Circle City Raceway in Indianapolis. And so the biggest way I got racing last year in the real world was my friend Brayton Laster. It's an insane story of how we met up, but one of the ways I really caught his eye was through sim racing and that Monday Night Racing Championship, because it's not every day that this like 17 or 18-year-old kid just comes out here and beats on some of the NASCAR drivers. And so that caught his attention, and I think he really wanted to put it to the test of like, what can a sim racer do in a real car? And yeah, so last year I had my first ever race. It was dirt super late model at Paragon Speedway in Indiana. And it's really weird. I would have never thought that a dirt car would have been my first car that I raced, because I never really had a dirt background growing up, but it was a really fun experience. I mean, I'd love to do it again. I ended up running it a few times last year, and it's just totally different. Like, it's not like anything on the sim. It's definitely not like an asphalt car. It's totally its own thing. And yeah, it was fun, but that was my first ever race, was the dirt super late model.
There we go. I was going to ask you, what do you like better? Do you like the dirt or the asphalt better?
Oh, asphalt. Totally.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not even close. I'm just more comfortable on it.
There you go. Hey, got to take a quick break, Presley. We're going to come back, pay a couple of bills, and we got a couple of more questions for you. Our special guest coming out of Cambridge, Indiana, man, the Hoosier State, Mr. Presley Sorah. We'll take a quick break on Pit Road Racing is live from the WCOBM, Alan and Diane, and our special guest will continue right after this, everybody. Stick with us.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, downtown Las Vegas. Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Welcome to my world. Handicapped man down at a charity feed. Great spread this morning. God, it was horrible. But it made what I needed to happen. Then I had these people that stopped and said, "Hey, you want some shoes?" I said, "Yeah, I was going to need to get some anyway. So might as well." And if it really comes to fruition, help them buy more shoes so that we can help more people. Well, I'm not but you know what I mean. Hell, might as well. There's nothing wrong with helping someone.
Come on! What the yeah! Oh man! Woo! That is awesome!
Unbelievable. And it's just something. We got to get down there, Diane.
Yeah.
Atlanta Motorsports Park, Dawsonville, Georgia. Presley, you ever heard of this place, man? They got a drift track down there, Presley. You know what you drift? They drift BMWs down there. They got go-kart tracks, IMSA racing's coming there, and you can get condos there. You can live there. But the drift track is something else, man, because they're running white BMWs on the I wonder what I got to ask Jeremy what his insurance bill is on this thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be outrageous. Anyhow, man, get down there and join us. Don't forget Las Vegas Motor Speedway, man. We got racing back coming up here in March, man. The trucks are back. Xfinity's back. The Cup is back, and it's 3 nights and 3 days of craziness. The circus comes to town, Diane.
It's finally back, yeah.
All right, Presley, standing by for us. Go ahead, Diane. Take him on to the next one.
Okay, Presley, if somebody asked you out of all of like the different racing circuits and you know, racing platforms and stuff, who would you say your favorite driver?
So I'm gonna have to say two because I really can't pick between them. NASCAR, Brad Keselowski, he's been my favorite since I was real little. And then Tony Stewart's my favorite right before him, and Joseph Newgarden on the IndyCar side. Those are my two guys.
Do you watch any dirt racing? You watch the World of Outlaws or anything like that?
I don't watch it consistently, but I've been to some races. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's I love to sling the dirt there. Anything in NHRA? Do you like anybody in the NHRA? You drag, 0 to 300 in 3 seconds. I mean, that's speed, buddy. I mean, that's flying now.
Yeah, those guys are insane. But yeah, my buddy Ron Capps, I was teammates with him on iRacing, and he is absolutely my guy in NHRA. I got to stand in victory lane with him with the trophy. The last 2 years, he won the Nationals. So yeah, Ron Capps.
Yeah. I got a good story. Diane and I were at the NHRA luncheon with Ron Capps, and who sits down with us is Antron Brown. Diane's a big fan of Antron. Well, Ron Capps had flown with the Thunderbirds last time they were here the previous year. Okay. Well, Antron got a shot to fly with him. And Ron told him, and Ron told this story to us at lunch. It was funny. Poor Antron he put his head in the stake after this all got out. But anyhow, so Ron Capps told Antron, said, "Now listen, man, when you go to do this thing, don't eat heavy. Okay, maybe a little water, a little juice, and everything, because you're getting ready to pull some. We pull some G's here, but you're really getting ready to pull some G's." So anyhow, they take off. They get up in the air, and he pulls the stick up and off of that, and they roll into a barrel roll. The next thing, Antron's grabbing for, I guess you want to call it, the puke bag or whatever it might be. So he gets back, and the bag's all filled up. And Ron said, "What the hell happened to you?" And he said, "I got sick." And he said, "Well, what did you do? Did you eat?" "Yeah, I had Cheerios, and I had this and a bagel and this and that." And Ron said, "I tried to tell you, son. Do not eat before you get on that airplane, because you think we pull some G's. When they open up the throttle on that thing and they bank it to the left side, you're going to feel what G's are all about right there." So yeah, it's just something else. Ever been in, you said Hickory, North Carolina, man, you were down in Hickory. You ever make it over to the Madhouse in Winston-Salem to see Bowman Gray, or how about Langley Speedway or South Boston? You ever get any of those places?
I haven't been to any of them. I really want to go to Bowman Gray because they have some of the craziest racing like every week down there, but I haven't been to them, but it's definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah. We've gone many a Saturday nights when we lived in Winston. Yeah,
we lived 10 minutes from the track. We used to stop at a place called Pluman's. Yeah, we used to stop at a place called Pluman's Hot Dogs and pick up a box of foot-long hot dogs, and then Diane would go racing over to the beer truck to grab the beers, because if you didn't get beers before racing started, you're SOL. And one quick little piece of advice: you're going to Bowman Gray, man, take a team with you. Make sure that you bring some chain and a couple of big hammers, because sometimes there's more action in the pits than there is on the racetrack. Okay, so fair warn the Southern boys out there. Diane, you got the next question for him. Take him on his way.
Hey, Presley, where do you see yourself in 3 years?
In 3 years, that's a really good question. I would like to be competing in the NASCAR Truck Series in 3 years. I think that's a fair goal. After my Daytona ARCA test a few weeks ago, I have the opportunity to race full time in the ARCA East Series this year. So I think in 3 years, get a couple years of ARCA under my belt, and I think in 3 years, I'd like to be in the Truck Series.
A little bit farther. How about 5 years?
5 years, I would say on the border between Truck and Xfinity Series. I don't want to I want to set achievable goals, and I don't want to say I want to be in the NASCAR Cup Series in 4 years, but I think the NASCAR Truck Series or the NASCAR Xfinity Series is very doable for me in 5 years, as long as I have a good couple years in ARCA and get the funding behind me.
What you're doing is you're just going to ease yourself way up and step by step, right?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of drivers rush themselves too much. Like as soon as they get the paycheck to go up to the next level and race with a good team there, that they take it. And I think in some instances they may just not be ready for it yet. And it wouldn't hurt to have another year of ARCA, another year of trucks, another year of Xfinity or whatever before moving up to the next level. And I would rather take an extra year or two and be good with my skills than rush it up just because I have the chance to.
Right. Do you have any special, any other special interests or any charities or anything that you're passionate about besides racing?
Well, so I don't currently have any charities, but oddly enough, they kind of go hand in hand. But trains, I'm a big train fanatic. So I actually just posted on my Twitter a couple hours ago a video of a train. But yeah, trains and cars, those are my two go-tos.
There you go.
I saw that on I saw that on your Facebook. So yeah, I just wanted to ask.
Going to wrap it up, man. Before I let you get out of here, thank you so much for your time. We're going to check back with you at the end of this season to see how you're doing. But before I let you go, we always allow the last minute to the driver, to the guest, social media where they can find you at, sponsors or anything like that. The last 60 seconds is yours, my friend.
All righty. Thank you. Yeah, you can find me on PresleySorah.com. That's my website. And all of my socials are at Presley Sorah, and you can find all of my posts about my racing on there. I've got a big year coming up with the ARCA East Series. I've got the opportunity to race full time in it. I've just got to get the funding to do so, but I'm pretty confident in myself and I'm working really hard. So yeah, just follow my socials. I post everything on there, and yeah, I'd love to work with you if you'd want to work with me.
There you go. You are a pleasure, young man.
Yes.
You are the comments are blowing up here for you, man. I'm just telling you, what a great young man, great show. What a proud representative of the great state of Indiana. It just goes on and on and on. There's 20 some comments that already been listed here. We're going to cut the show and we'll send it to you. We always tell all of our racing around the country, you don't need a release from us. If you need to use this interview to get yourself some sponsors or whatever, you do it. Thank you so much for your time, my friend. Good luck to you in the 2024 season. Diane, one final comment?
And you're welcome anytime on this show. All you have to do is reach out to us, okay?
Awesome. I will definitely be back on, and I appreciate you guys having me tonight.
Thanks so much, Presley. And Presley Sorah from Indiana, man. When we come back, he's in line, man. Jerry Bernado joins us. He's coming up next. On Pit Road Racing is live from Las Vegas, everybody. And we'll do it all. Come right out right after this.
Welcome to my world. Handicapped man down at a charity feed. Great spread this morning. God, it was horrible. But it made what I needed to happen. Then I had these people that stopped and said, hey, you want some shoes? I said, yeah, I was going to need to get some anyway. So might as well. And if it really comes to fruition, help them buy more shoes so that we can help more people. I'm not we, but you know what I mean. hell, might as well. There's nothing wrong with helping someone. You know, it makes for good karma or good energy, whatever it takes.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. Downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada, where everything seems to move a little bit faster. Like a lot faster. Like 200 miles an hour faster. It's more than a race. It's full throttle insanity.
The drivers aren't the only ones on a joyride.
Family, friends, and unforgettable moments. I'm talking full throttle mayhem. I'm talking NASCAR in Vegas. What could go wrong?
Always mayhem in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, especially if you put Kyle Busch and Bubba together, Jerry.
That's true. Knuckles up.
Knuckles, yeah, elbows up, but there was knuckles up last year. Something else, man. How you doing today, sir?
Good. I'm doing good. I was just sitting out in the lobby there of the go-kart track, drinking coffee, prepping.
There you go.
Getting ready. I had no notes. All I had is memory banks.
And you've got it stored in you. Ladies and gentlemen, he was the former host of Moto World from ESPN, man. 2-3 good years with that show, man. Jerry Bernado, now with the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, sits on the board of directors. And, well, let me get started, man. How did you get started in broadcasting?
I moved to California from Boston. I was a custom helmet painter, and I knew a guy named Joe Colombero who worked for Suzuki. And he hit up my old boss, Lou Seals from Motor World. And he's like, hey, I know this kid paints killer motorcycle helmets, but he's a bit quirky and eccentric, and he's pretty funny. You should do a feature for the show. So they came up to my house in Wrightwood, California, and I was painting helmets, and I was just busting monologues. That was the first time I was ever on camera. I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just ripping monologues, but I had really cool, this is back when airbrush, you know, full murals and everything, a lot of work, a lot of fumes, wink. And they took that back to Atlanta to Motor World headquarters. And my boss is like, you know, I mean, he said it, I didn't. He goes, this kid's got the secret sauce. So push came to shove a little while later, they called me up and said like, hey, do you want to host a crash show? I'm just like, you want to pay me to talk about motorcycles?
Right.
And I ended up in Pasadena at a Supercross back when they had one there.
Right.
I hosted this crash show again, first time on camera, people in the background. I didn't know what I was doing, but I guess my shy level was real low.
Right.
So I pinned it. And next thing you know, they decided they wanted to have a show called Motor World 2, which is an offshoot of Motor World, the original magazine motorcycle show. And it was going to be on ESPN2, which was the new network for ESPN. So it was all new, way ahead of its time. We're talking 25 years ago, you know, 99-ish. And next thing you know, I'm getting cut a check to go to motorcycle races and do monologues and interview people. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah, but
I was having fun.
You know, that you can get a lot of, if you know, you got a lot of stuff on YouTube. You know that, right?
You know, in all honesty, I know it's there,
but
I don't really go looking for it. I'm the type of guy, like I watch what I've done, not to nitpick it, but technical and how they edit and, you know, was that good? And then I go, yeah, good. And then I put it in the can and I never look at them again, really.
There's some funny stuff on there, man. There's some really funny stuff. If you, Jerry, you should take some time and go back and take a look at it, man. Favorite event you've ever covered in your life? Makes no difference. Motorcycles, NASCAR, whatever. Favorite event did you ever went to?
Right off the top of my head, I got to preempt the answer to that is I took pride in the fact that as a motorcycle racer, if they said to me like, hey, we're going to do a show on this, whatever the genre was, and the guy said, you can race this bike, or do you want to ride this? Do you want to ride that? And I'm like, hell yeah. So I kind of was the real deal in a way where like, if I rode a tough off-road race and I finished and I took my helmet off and I had dirt in my teeth and I'm like, oh my God, that was the toughest air scramble, that one section with the trees. And, you know, I could really relay the information because I just was racing. So that was good for me to, you know, not be like full of hot air.
Right.
But Franco Acerbis, who owns a very famous plastics company in Italy, he's, you know, quite well off in the money. He decided he wanted to have a rally. He had a rally in Peru called the Incas Rally, and he wanted to do one sort of a made for TV. And this is before, well, not before, we weren't using GPS. So made for TV rally. He got 26 people, 13 teams. So it was a team race. And we went down to Peru, and it was about a 6-day long rally, but not following the roll charts and all the stuff that like Ricky Brabeck, the winner of this year's Dakar Rally, did. We do like a really cool event in the morning and then have a little break and then do a secondary event. So when I say it was made for TV, we'd race what you call a hare scramble, just a regular race through this wide open course, middle of nowhere for 3 hours. And then an hour or two later, we go somewhere else and do a second part of the race. And one time they put us on donkeys. And you're like, donkeys? So there was Incan ruins, and the rule was like trials riding, you can't dab your foot.
Right.
So I pulled the donkey, and my teammate, Chris Smith from New Jersey, 6-time gold medalist at the ISD races, he got on the donkey, but he had to really clamp on. The kid's like 6 foot tall, and he couldn't touch his feet. So the donkey's like, what the hell is this for one? And there's, 13 other donkeys in these teams, and all these guys are watching. Did they dab their feet? So, you do racing like a racer, and then this made for television. And that was just one of the many things we did. One time we pulled the bikes onto rafts in these big, rapid, forget the raft thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had
down the Colorado River.
Right. They had pallets.
Right.
And we had to race wide open 15 miles across the bridge and then load up all on the clock, then load our bikes onto the pallets. And everybody had a guy steering, and we paddled our asses off down class 3 rapids. We got up on rocks and spun around. I got an XR 650. I'm like, this is, whoa. And then we unload the bike, still on the clock, up a shitty rocky hill.
Right.
Through the checkered flag. So and it all accumulated, but it was based on team. Like Chris Smith's a gold medalist.
Okay.
He could smoke me, and he could sit there and smoke a cigarette, wait for me to come across the line. We had to cross the line together. So the team race was basically however fast the slowest guy could go, which was me.
Right.
So that was the greatest experience and/or adventure in my life, but not only to do it. And we finished second in the race, which is awesome.
Right.
But I lived it and did television at the same time and came away unscathed.
I was going to say the next thing was the craziest moment. So I guess if we add all those other, but you were telling me a story. Didn't you do some hill climbing one time?
Yeah, one time.
You tell this story because this is really good. Go ahead.
Well, you're not always not nervous when you do something new. Just because it's a motorcycle doesn't mean you've ridden it before. And they said, hey, we're going to go do a Motor World 2 show in Ohio at the Devil's Staircase, which is a famous hill climb. And it's got 3 big jumps and then the top. So we go there and I meet everybody and I'm interviewing guys and we're just doing our shtick, our TV, blah, 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 blah. And all day I'm watching everybody race. And they're wide open, big extended swing arms. All you hear is, they're jumping. Sometimes the front end lifts up. I call it jumping off the step ladder. You can't hold on. The guy just bails off the back and the bike's tumbling down and it's a horror show. Now I know deep in my heart later on, I got to race. I got to do it. So I'm just watching these guys make the hill or crash all day long. And then finally the race ends and they go, okay, Jerry, you're going to ride now. Go get your gear. And I'm like, butt pucker. Oh, Homer Simpson sounds go here. You're like,
now, real quickly, you've never been on this bike. You have never done this before.
No, I didn't even have a practice run off camera or anything.
Okay.
So I go get my gear. I'm full cottonmouth. I walk up and there's an 800cc Harley Davidson extended swing arm motorcycle. Just the guys there. And the owner of it, or whoever the team manager, says to me, listen, you can do whatever you want, but with a bike like this, you got a hole shot. You got to break the wheel loose. You got to come out hot.
Right.
Because the minute you let the clutch out and you leave the line, he goes, you can let off. I don't care what you do. Don't get hurt, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. So I get on it and I sit on it and I'm like, and when you rev it, it's just, it would sack out. I'm like, And I'm like, oh God. I'm looking up at this hill. Long story short, let the clutch out, kept on the gas pretty good, and I got air on all 3 jumps, and I got to the top, and I'm like, shit, that was fun. I want to do that again. I want to do it again. When I was coming back down, I was like, I wanted to go again. So yeah, that was really fun. But looking at the bikes and the racing all day, I'm like, this is hectic.
I had that same feeling when they started the Richard Petty School of Racing. The driving racing was originally done in Charlotte. Okay, well, Charlotte had not put its lights up on the track yet, so it was done in daytime. Well, everybody kept telling us, the media was involved. They invited us all to come down to try this thing because they all want us to go back and talk about it, right? Well, they all explained turn 3, the tunnel turn, and how slick and how greasy it was. I'm down the backstretch at about 143 mile an hour, just about ready to hit the chip, right? Because they top them out about 145.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. At 143 going into that turn, and I felt that rear end break loose. You talk about that. You talk about puckering up. Everything puckered up, and I almost looked out the window and said, "God, if it's my time, take me now, man." But that was one. I mean,
43s. Fastest I ever went was on a Suzuki GSXR 1100 on a practice loop at the Daytona International Speedway on the bikes. And I was up away from the wall. I didn't even want to go near the wall. I'm going 130. Guys are whipping by me at 170. Yang, 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 yang. And I'm like, hold your line, hold your line. I didn't need any more. I had enough.
Yeah.
There's the chicane. Everybody's braking way down there. I'm like, oh, there's the chicane. I'll chop the throttle now, like 100 yards away.
Well, they're all riding 3/4 cockeyed sideways. That's something else to see. That best interview. Who's the most favorite interview you enjoy doing? Somebody along the line? Anybody?
Right off the top of my head, and I've said this throughout the course of the years, there's a famous racer that raced ISDEs and off-road enduros. I believe he's an enduro champion. I don't know how many times. I didn't research this, but for Yamaha and Suzuki, I think too. But right now he's affiliated with Yamaha. Randy Hawkins,
okay,
good old boy from the South. Great interview, so organic. Just flow, no pause. You ask him, of course, when you're talking about motorcycles to a motorcycle person.
Right.
So Randy Hawkins, who is a good friend of mine, I don't talk to him now, but he was always one of my favorite interviews because he was just so seamless and energetic and enjoyed the sport and so well versed in it. You never had to dig for an answer. I always liked Randy Hawkins. He gets my thumbs up.
I think one of my best ones that I ever did, man, was with Ned Jarrett. And real quickly, man, we were at Martinsville Speedway. I don't know if you've ever been there before. Martinsville short track. We were up in the middle of the track, down in the middle, and they had a little building there. And on the bottom of the building, they had hot dogs, Pepsi, and Mountain Dew, served it to the teams. On top of it, it was like an old media type of thing, picture thing. Well, I'm up there with an old RSD system. I'm going to crank up the old antenna and send it back. I got Ned Jarrett coming up. Everything is great, and all of a sudden, a pouring rain comes roaring in. I mean, pouring. The only thing that saved my rear end that day is I brought me an old push-button phone because it knocked the Marty system out. It knocked everything. And Ned Jarrett and I sit there and did a phone interview, 15-minute interview on the radio station I was working with, passing a phone back and forth. So I think it's one of the best things I ever.
You're in damage control because in live television, something goes wrong. You can't just go, hey, something went wrong. We got to go, or that's the end. You got to shuck and jive and figure it out.
Real quickly, man, obviously motorcycle, I think is your favorite form of motorsports, correct? Am I right,
sir?
There? Is there anything that you didn't get to cover that you would have liked to cover? I know you did a little time with some NASCAR because I saw an interview with you and Chuck Gordon. Any other racing that you never got into that you said, man, I'd really like to try that?
You know, it's funny. We had Motor World 2 for quite some time. I believe I hosted that for 5 years. I don't know when Motor World 2 Rev It Up, which was the same show, but it was all motorcycles in the beginning. I don't remember when they slid into Motor World 2 Rev It Up, but when we brought in the Rev It Up secondary title, that's when we expanded our horizons insofar as any form of motorsports. We covered monster trucks, jet ski racing, NASCAR. You know, then it opened up the doors because we had not really, I don't know if milked would be the right word. We had done so much within the motorcycle industry. It wasn't that we were running out of things, but we got to step out of the norm and cover other things. And one time I went, another fun thing I did was Laguna Seca. I took the Skip Barber racing school for 3 days. That's probably one of the second most fun things I've ever done besides the Incas Rally, riding around doing the corkscrew in an open wheel Ford or whatever the cars were. Man, it was fun.
Those little like F-1000s or whatever, what they're basically a step down from Indy or Formula One style racing. Yeah.
So fun though.
That would have
You
been
really
so
felt like you were racing.
What was the corkscrew like? I got to ask you that,
The
man.
corkscrew was good. I mean, I didn't drive over my head. I spun out a couple of times here and there, but I spun out on not on the corkscrew, on straightaways. I don't know the exact turn area I spun around, but man, you spin around when you're hauling ass. The guy goes, if you spin both feet in, and I'm just like, oh, I'm going like on EM, you know.
Let's get to the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame 4th annual coming up here. We're just about 48 hours, a little less than 48 hours away from it, man. Great attendance. I was over at one of our partner hotels, said they're packing them in there, man. You've got some special stuff lined up, some of the good crews that used to work. Let's talk a little about what's happening with the Hot Shoe this year.
We call it Hot Shoe Hall of Fame 4.0. We got, I'm guessing, about 900 people coming. There's 800 registered, and it's in the Notoriety Theater upstairs, and it's not like other banquets, motorcycle banquets. We're inducting about 63 new inductees where we give them their plaques, but the other ones, everybody's in line. You get next up, so-and-so, here's your plaque. Hey, you know, we don't know who's going to show up. Some people live far away. There's a couple of guys I got in this year, famous Italian racers, Alessandro Gritti. It's like the Malcolm Smith of Italian enduro. Giovanni Sala, very famous. Now he's a spokesperson and, you know, he works with KTM, spreading the brand love. Well, they're not going to fly all the way over. We wish they would. So we don't know exactly who's showing up, but we just have a room full of people, like-minded motorcycle enthusiasts. It's bench racing, telling stories, accessing people that you can never see, like Kevin Schwantz is supposed to come this year, 93 World GP champ. If he shows up, Joe Blow, that's never met him, like, hey, Kevin, I'm a big fan, couple of words. You never get to access these people. So that's the beauty of one of the aspects of the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, but it's also to spread the word about the fact that the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame is not only a motorcycle museum, it's a nonprofit organization, and we give away these hot shoes to the homeless, to the needy, anybody who's down on their luck and whatnot. So it's all about donations, and we're just trying to spread the word, because it's not just like, hey, you know, we all raced and this guy's a champion, or like I got my buddy Dougie in this year. He's one of the cameramen. We got them coming in to do a little television, because the main room where we do the interviews, it gets a little coagulated.
It's a little tight up there.
Yeah, it gets a little coagulated. So people come in and they look in and they're like, oh, I want to go watch the interviews. And they're like, oh, there's nowhere to sit. So they kind of get depressed, or I've heard, and they migrate back out in the hall, and they might feel like they feel gypped, but we don't want anybody to miss out on anything.
Right.
So this year I got my buddies from ESPN, Dan Walsh, former ESPN employees, Dan Walsh, and my old cameraman, Doug Frankie. They're going to come in and we're going to shoot the camera on the stage, broadcast it into the second room to either a big screen or a big TV, so people can be in a more airy, the second room's even bigger, and they can watch what's going on so nobody misses anything.
The real cool thing about it this year, you've also set this up that we're going to be live streaming the actual award show. Yep. Diane and I are going to start off a little pre-show for you at 5 o'clock, wrap it up at about 6:30, let you guys take a hold of it. And this year, I'm going to tell you, man, after 4 years of hard work this year, I'm going to find myself a little thing, and I'm going to actually get to see the show this year. So,
well, I'm going to be busy doing interviews, but I could imagine and hope that you would be kicking back after your show and having a nice adult beverage and relaxing. Can you promise me you'll have a drink? I'm sober, so you have to drink for me, Knuckles.
I got a frosty cold Heineken waiting up there. I told Gene that I would not do the martinis, because he knows once I get on the martinis, I don't get mean or anything. I just get real fun. You know what I mean? So that's
good.
Jerry Bernado is standing with us, man. This is if they can also log on. If you want to get out to the show, just log on to Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. We don't charge anything to come in.
Right.
We're not like some of these other organizations. You got to pay a cover charge for this. You got to buy this. You got to buy that. Da, 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 da. If you want to drink, you're going to pay at the bar. We've got food and sandwiches provided by our good friends at Woods Family Sandwiches to be there. And you know what I liked about it, Jared? But this is my 4th year with it. I came in initially, Diane and I did. But I liked about it, it's not all fancy. If you come in a tuxedo, or women with high dollar shoes and this, we'll throw you out the door, man. Because we don't want that. We want, like you said, vintage race clothes. People that, and you walk in, I saw so many the first 2 years, Jerry, the people that hadn't seen each other for 10, 15, 20 years, that just walked up and said, man, it is so good to see you. Let's grab a cold beer, and how are the grandkids doing, and how are this doing? I think it's just what everybody You, Gene, everybody's done with this thing. We've made it a family. And you know what, Jerry? Whether you're motorcycles, your NASCAR, your NHRA, there's one thing that I've always believed in motorsports. Motorsports people are family, and we stick together.
I got to give a shout out to Gene, who's, the creator of the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame and also the owner of this go-kart track. Gene Woods, former 3-time National Speedway champion, who came up with the idea to have this event. And, he reached in deep to his pocket. He's not making money because it's the true word nonprofit is nobody gets paid. Gene's laid a little bit out. So we sell T-shirts and some hats and some sweatshirts. And these are all coming in as donations.
Right.
And we always want bigger donations. If generous people want to help us, we would love it. But without Gene starting this 4 years ago, he's got all his old friends and people we've never met all to be in one place. But in the end, this is what it's all about.
Yep.
Gene put out some money for 1,000 pairs of these really nice heart shoes because they're from the heart of the motorcycle industry. And Las Vegas, there's no shortage of people down under their luck, walking around. I mean, I've seen people right outside the track here. We're coming to pull in. I see a lady with no shoes. I run over. I go, what size shoes do you wear?
Yeah.
This happens. I'll run inside, grab 7.5s for her, and I'll run out and go, here you go. She's walking around in winter with bare feet. If you can help people, you got to help them.
That's it. And a real pleasure to do that. In fact, this show this year, we do not sell sponsorships like regular television or terrestrial radio. So we put two packages together. It's a $500 package or a $1,000. 100% of the money. I don't take any of the money. Gene doesn't take any of the money. The show does not take any money. This network does not take any money. So we've got a thing that we've got it all prepared. It'll start next week. So if you'd like to be part of the program, there are several businesses that are along with us now that you can join. It will help, just like Jerry said. We do not get a salary. We do this out of our hearts. So what this is 100% of this money goes to buy these shoes. Jerry, we've been to Las Vegas. We've been to Sacramento. We've been all over everywhere. And you've done some great clips for it. And I'm really upset about Sacramento, them killing racing up there. Just.
One little side note we hadn't mentioned, we give out a Lifetime Achievement Award. Last year it was Brad Lackey. This year it's going to be Mert Lawwell. So Fame star of On Any Sunday. Unfortunately, he's not feeling good. He's not going to actually make it to the event. But Mert Lawwell is this year's 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. And he's the nicest guy in the world. He came up with us and stayed at the Airbnb in Sacramento. And I said to Gene, sometimes Mike knows I can be a little bit of a handful, only on one coffee. I said, man, am I going to have to tone it down around Mert? I never met him. He goes, nah, Mert will be all right. And I met Mert and I let the string out a little bit. He didn't buckle. I let a little more out and I go, okay, I'm good to go. Then I just started acting myself. We're all having fun.
Yeah.
Nothing too outlandish. And then at the end, Mert was talking to me. He's like, wasn't really sure if I was going to come to the Hot Shoe event, but I'm really enjoying hanging out with you guys. He goes, I'm going to come. And I told Gene, I go, I think we won. Fortunately, his health took a little turn for the worse. He had a fall, so he's best to stay home with some help,
right?
Nursing and whatnot. But he's still all right. His mind's still on point. So we wish him the best, and we wish he could be here. But this year, Mert Lawwell, star of On Any Sunday, is our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient.
See, it's a great thing, and also a special go-kart race that you guys got coming up for some of the inductees here, and a little special awards. So we're going to be racing go-karts. You get registered, you race a little go-karts, you jump up on the elevator to the third floor, 73,000 square foot entertainment, 2 major rooms. And you, my friend, are hosting the show this year. Man, with a great announcer with Terry Clanton's going to be joining you, and a little surprises from one of the great motorsports voices, Mr. Ralph Shaheen, will be along with us too. So
Ralph Shaheen's not lined up to be an announcer. Ike Clanton's going to announce, and then I'm going to take over for the second half of the night. But professional announcer, the guy's he's got his ducks in a row. He's so good. He's been around forever, announced everything. Ralph's going to be in the room, so we might get him up and have a little interview with a guy that does interviews about interviews and about motorsport. You know what I mean?
I hope I can get him on the pre-race because I've got only 3 questions to ask him, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag.
No, that's good.
But he's a great interview. He's worked in all kinds of motorsports, from motorcycles, NASCAR. I mean, if it had a motor and wheels on it, Ralph Shaheen's probably had his voice or his face in the middle of it. All right.
I'm looking just real quick. I'm looking at the screen here. If I put my hands down, I'm wearing a black hoodie in front of a black background. I kind of look like I'm just a floating head.
Yeah.
It's like a guillotine ready to. Anyhow, whatever.
We're like floating around. Yeah, if we had green screen, Gene wanted the green screens, and I said, no, we don't. Look at this beautiful thing that you designed. We don't need green screens.
No, the
When
set
we go
looks great.
When you guys go on a low, you don't use a green screen. The motorcycle's jumping. You got the camera of the motorcycle jumping, right? There we go. When I go to the track, I want to see the cars running, man. That's what I want.
If it didn't happen on camera, it didn't happen.
There you go. Anything else before we cut loose?
No, I really can't think anything. I'm going to try and be on my best behavior.
Okay.
I have been known to say bad words. I'm not making any promises, but if you want to find out what's going to be happening in the interview world at the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame event, you got to rock up again. It's free. 7 o'clock, Notoriety Theater, Fremont Street. You know the address.
450 Fremont Street. And I believe it's 371, third floor.
We're at 171 downstairs in the 171. The number is the Hot Shoe track.
Right. Gene Woods Racing.
Thank you.
WCOBM.
I was overthinking it.
And the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame.
And I need another coffee.
All right, we'll get you one.
All right.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time. I know you haven't been off the camera for a while, but I've enjoyed having you come on the show. And we're going to be spreading the love. Our live broadcast will start at 5 p.m. on Saturday. We will be off on Pit Road Racing. We'll be off the air by 6:30. Then you will take a hold of things. You can actually see Jerry and the whole crew do the show live on our Facebook channel from the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. It's facebook.com/Hot Shoe Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And you can log on, not charges, no pay-per-view event or anything like that. We're not trying to play McMahon and World Wrestling Entertainment. But if you can't make it out here and you want to see some great interviews, some great people from the motorcycle and the motorsports racing industry, that'll be the place to do. Once again, 5 p.m. on Saturday. We'll start it right here at the WCOBM and on Pit Road Racing for a pre-show. And then Jerry and the crew will take everything over at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and they'll do the entire performance right there for you on facebook.com/Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. There you go. Well, my friend, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I hope you like the set. I hope things are turning out good and everything else.
Good.
Well, if you won't mind, I do a little thing. It's called Time to Bring on John the Announcer. Do you mind?
Have at it.
Presley, Sorah with us. Back at your Friday. Scratch of the K is live from Daytona Beach, Florida. I'll be here in Las Vegas. On Pit Road Racing does it for you. We want to thank each and every one of you for logging on with us today. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you Friday. Live from Daytona, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for On Pit Road Racing. Follow us on our website, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at On Pit Road Racing. On Pit Road Racing is written and produced by WCOBN TV. I'm John the Announcer for On Pit Road Racing.